Hello and welcome back to our 8th episode of Quarantine Questions. Yes, it feels like a long time since the Olympics have actually happened, but our athletes are still in quarantine. And today I'm delighted to be joined by yet another Olympic gold medalist. There were so many of them for Australia these games, and we've got another one here on the show today. Jean van der Westhuyzen, how are you today? Oh, I've just lost you at the moment. I'm not sure if it's your headphones or if it's my end. Give me one moment. I'll just put some other headphones in just in case it's my end.
Do you have me there, Lockie?
Yeah, I've got you now, so we're all good. I
can't hear you my side.
Okay. It might be your headphones then. So feel free to put those back on. I think it was my end. I think it was my end.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. I think, again, technical issues on my end. You'd think after all these times. Maybe it is your headphones. I'm not sure. It was. Jean will be back very soon. We've got plenty of questions to come in for Jean today, so send them in. We've got he's got an Olympic gold medal that he's going to show off as well, but make sure to send in your questions. We've already had plenty of episodes where we've had you guys sending in questions. We had Harry Garside yesterday, and we've got Jean coming back here. There we go. No, that's all right. I think it's just a mix of both ends at the moment. So how are you going in quarantine at the moment? I believe you're up at Howard Springs.
Yeah, really good. It's been super chilled so far. Day 10 now. I tried not to count. But yeah, pretty keen to get out and see the family and friends and start the celebrations.
How do you feel about the whole quarantine experience? Was it something that you were kind of trying not to think about before going to the Olympics, going, oh, I really don't want to do that 2 weeks in quarantine?
No, not at all. It was almost really nice the first week just because it was such a crazy build up to the games, and then what happened afterwards, it was just go, go, go. So to come literally just sleep for a week in quarantine was epic. I was pretty stoked about it, to be honest.
And now, how have you found the Howard Springs facility? Obviously, we've seen the Aussie athletes spread out all around the country. A lot of people are in hotels in Brisbane and Sydney, wherever it might be. But have you enjoyed having that kind of extra little bit of freedom?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like it's definitely not bad yet at all. We've got a little balcony where we can just kind of chill out and have a chat with the guys next to us. Obviously, not cross over the red line. But no, it's good. It's everything we need. So yeah, I'm pretty grateful for it. Can't really complain too much.
Now, one thing we've seen a lot of, especially the athletes in hotels, they've been getting a lot of Uber Eats and Uber Eats deliveries sent to them and things like that. Is that something you're kind of wishing you had access to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wish we could have had access to Uber Eats, but it's the right. Coles orders and IGA orders would have to substitute for that. But no, it's okay. I'm a bit jealous, not gonna lie, for sure.
What's your first meal going to be when you get out of quarantine? Have you been thinking about it yet?
Oh, absolutely. A big fat steak on the barbecue is going to be the first one for sure. No doubt about it.
Are we medium rare? Are we? Is that where we're settling for that?
That's the only way. That's the only way steak is cooked, right?
Okay. Very good to go. Well, we've got one question that's already come in here from Lisa, who firstly said, well done, so proud of you, but also says that her husband is leaving in a few days for Tokyo, the Paralympics, and she'd like to ask if you have any ideas on how to stop yourself from going crazy in quarantine.
I think everyone's different. Like some people really like a routine, where for myself, I didn't want a routine at all. I've been living by a routine for the last couple of months. So I just kind of wanted to chill out and catch up with mates, watch TV, read a book, do some exercise if I wanted to. So yeah, I think it's kind of just doing what you really feel like doing. Well, that's what it was like for me. So like I said, other people like getting into a bit of a routine, but I think it's just you know yourself better than anyone else. So yeah, just go in there with the open mindset and try and enjoy it.
We've seen a lot of different exercise routines happening in Howard Springs in particular, whether it be F45 sessions on the balconies, group yoga. Is there anything been in particular that you've been doing to try and keep yourself in shape?
All my teammates make me feel so bad. I'm like, I keep trying to discourage them to exercise. I was like, guys, you've just been at the games. Like, please eat dirty food and let's get fat together. But nobody seems to be on the same page. So yeah, I've forced myself to join a couple of exercise sessions. But yeah, I kind of just want to relax right now, to be honest.
And you said you've been watching a bit of TV as well. Anything in particular that you've been trying to binge during these 2 weeks?
Nah, I don't discriminate between the TV shows. I watch pretty much everything and anything. So yeah, movies, series. I love Game of Thrones, so I kind of rewatch that a little bit. But yeah, kind of anything really. Bit of Suits. Yeah.
Well, let's get into a little bit about how you got not just into the sport of kayaking, but here in Australia, because you obviously grew up in Cape Town. I'm sure people can tell by your accent that there's that South African background there. But how did that move come about for you in terms of coming to Australia?
I think I always knew I wanted to come to Australia. I can't really put a point on why. But as I kind of got towards the end of my schooling career, I was looking around for places to study and train, and those are the two things I really wanted to do moving forward and leaving school. And the best opportunity was going to be in Australia for me. They had a really good university there that supported athletes, and they had a world-class training group that I really wanted to be a part of. So it was a real weird trickle of events, how it all kind of came about. And I was lucky enough that one of the guys that went to the same school as me was actually on one of the kayak teams. So kind of just contacted him, and he put us in with the performance director, and we got chatting, and yeah, they gave me a shot to come try it in the group. And obviously once they heard that I wanted to compete for Australia and move here, they were really supportive of that. And one thing led to another. I ended up getting my citizenship within the first year and 10, 11 months. So I could try qualify and try race at the Olympic Games for Australia.
One thing I was reading on the Olympic website was that Ken Wallace, Murray Stewart, two kind of Australian legends in your sport, were two people that you looked up to even when you were kind of back in South Africa.
Oh, absolutely. I used to, as a young boy, I used to watch all the older guys. But absolutely, from the Australian team, it was Muzz, it was Kenny, it was the K4 boys. Yeah, absolutely, I looked up to them. They were huge inspirations for me, and to be able to train, be coached by them, yeah, it's really, really cool. It's kind of a bit of a dream for me.
We had a few other questions come in through Instagram about growing up in South Africa and what that was like. One question we had from Jeff was, what influence did growing up in South Africa have on your rise to becoming an Olympic medalist? And I guess, obviously you came here to pursue that dream, but I imagine it would have had a strong influence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the best thing that South Africa gave me, or I suppose a lesson that I really learned there, or a character that was built maybe, was because South Africa doesn't have the resources and the high performance facilities that Australia does. Everything that had to be done was kind of by your own will and your own motivation. There was no one waiting for me in the morning at training. I was all by myself, and I had to make plans to get to training in the afternoon. So I had to catch the school's medical bus. So all the guys that went down to the city to go see doctors for x-rays and stuff, that's the bus I caught down to get to training. So it was all, you had to be really self-motivated. So I think that kind of really just gave me a hunger to always do everything as perfectly as possible. And then moving into that high performance environment that Australia gives us, I was like, wow, I just had so many resources and so many people to just take me to that next level. So absolutely, I think it's just that internal drive and hunger, and maybe a little bit of toughness, I suppose, that South Africa gave me.
Another question that we had here from Kat was, obviously you spoke about how quickly that citizenship came into effect, but she asked, do you have any regrets not racing for South Africa? Obviously the colours are quite similar in terms of our uniform, but at the end of the day, Australia kind of won you over. And was there ever any temptation to, despite sort of spending a lot of time here in Australia at the facilities, to race for South Africa?
No, definitely not. Australia did more for me in the first 2 months or month I was there than South Africa did in my whole career. I'll forever be grateful for the people and the amazing people that were around me. But in terms of the support, like from the nation and from a funding perspective, it was never going to do it for me. So I'm so proud to represent Australia, and I'm an Australian. So not one doubt in my mind that I ever want to compete for for South Africa at the Olympic Games. When I first came over here, I had a goal in mind, and that was to be an Australian and be part of the Australian Olympic team. So absolutely not.
Now, obviously, for those who might not know your story, your brother is kind of quite involved in the sport as well, obviously. But you kind of made that move to Australia by yourself to start with. Was that hard at all to kind of really pick up everything by yourself and come over to Australia, not knowing when, I guess, the rest of your family was going to join you?
To be honest, it wasn't actually that hard, just because I managed to make friends quite quickly at uni, and I made mates at training. So and I also came from boarding school, so I was really used to living out of home and away from my family and my parents, I guess. So it was quite a easy transition, and I was just always having so much fun around mates at uni. I never really had a minute to kind of think about, oh, this is quite tough. I was quite lucky. So yeah, I had great people around me, and it was all really good. So I can't really say it was too hard of a move.
Well, as you said, the move really, within a month of you coming over here, that progress started happening. And I mean, we saw at World Junior Championships level, you kind of tasted that success pretty quickly. Was that something that kind of felt surreal, how quickly, I guess, all these honors started coming to you, even though you were only, I guess, fresh into this professionalized version of the sport?
I suppose, oh, a surprise. Yeah, I guess so, in a way. Like, we went to the under 23s, 23 World Championships in 2019, and we got some good results there, which was cool. But I think it's, I guess you kind of know where you sit and how you're going. So it is, but maybe it is a bit of a surprise of maybe how well you go or how you're progressing. But yeah, I've just had a really good team around me, that always, was backing me along the way. So I suppose it was a bit of a surprise. There were a couple of surprises along the way.
Were the Tokyo Olympics always kind of like your goal? You went, okay, 2020, that's when I can make my Olympic debut.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, I was still in school in 2016, so for me, it was definitely going to be Tokyo that I was aiming for. Obviously, there was quite a lot of uncertainty whether I would have got my citizenship in time to be able to compete. But yeah, absolutely, I always wanted to compete at Tokyo, and that was the first games I really kind of targeted, I guess.
What was it like when you found out you're in the squad? Obviously, I think I was reading you only made your first national team in kind of 2020, end of 2019. So I guess having that extra year after the games was postponed really helped solidify your place for the Olympic squad this year.
Yeah, so I arrived in Australia in 2018, and I had to sit that year out in order to transfer and compete with Australia. And then I was on the national team in 2019, and then obviously COVID had happened. So I think, yeah, the extra year was really helpful. I would have only been 21 last year, which is quite young at the game. So just for another year for development and improving myself as an athlete, and the same as Tommy as well, I think it really helped our boat and really helped us get a good result.
What was that feeling like when you got your boarding pass? You went, all right, I'm going to be an Olympian. How excited were you by it?
Oh, it was one of the best days of my life. I still remember getting the news, and I just phoned my family. I was crying, and I was just phoned the coaches and just everybody around me that supported me. And it was such a motivating moment for me as well, because now it was just up to myself to go out and make the team um, and be able to qualify for the game. So it was so exciting. Obviously, I was a bit nervous as well because the pressure's on, but more so than anything, just so stoked that that I had the opportunity just to at least have a crack.
Obviously, the individual events as well as the team event with Tommy. Was there any particular event you kind of had gone, okay, this is the one that I reckon I can really challenge in, or were you confident that you'd be able to be among the best in all of them?
I think going into the games, like, I had a confidence that I would have liked to do quite well in both events, but I would definitely say that the K2 was probably going quite a bit better. And yeah, my K1 result was, I was really disappointed with that, and I really thought I had quite a bit more to offer. And then it was really just about leaving that behind and focusing on the team boat. So yeah, I suppose the K2 definitely, I kind of thought in my head that that was a boat that could do really well.
that final, that was one of the most thrilling moments, I guess, of this Olympic campaign for Australians watching on. I mean, I think it was happening at the same time as another Olympic gold medal was happening, so it was kind of everyone's attention was split. But racing against Germany, I mean, it comes down to that last 200 meters, and you guys are neck and neck. Talk us through that moment and what it feels like in that moment, knowing that you're so close to gold, and what's driving you to make sure you can get across the line first.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty surreal moment on the start line. Like, I'd been watching Max for as long as I could remember. So he was the guy that sat in the front of the German boat, and he's just an absolute legend of the sport. And one of my mates who I've raced in the junior ranks was sitting in the back. So yeah, it was quite a surreal moment, because everyone on the start line had either had, a world championship medal, World Cup medal, was a junior world champion, or an Olympic medalist. So it was pretty cool to be surrounded by, all these really high quality athletes. And yeah, I suppose going into the starting blocks, just myself and Tommy, we're quite lucky. Like, we are quite relaxed people, and we don't let, I suppose, a moment try build up too much pressure on us. So we kind of just turned around to each other and said, "Hey, let's go have fun, let's go have a good time, and let's just go try execute." And yeah, in the race, it felt really comfortable. And going through the halfway mark, I thought to myself, "We're definitely in this." And then the last 200 obviously was really close, and
Yeah.
it was just about holding on to the line. Just I suppose, just trying to keep our nose ahead of theirs, and luckily enough, we were able to do that. So it was really cool. It was a really nice moment.
Did you know you had won when you crossed the line, or were you still a little bit unsure because it was so close?
I could see in my peripheral vision that with about 20 meters to go that we had got it. So
yeah,
I think I kind of I knew. Yeah.
Obviously, the next big moment is getting that gold medal, being able to stand at the top of that podium with Tom. Talk us through this moment, because you're part of a very small club now of Australians who have won an Olympic gold medal. What does that feel like? And especially in that moment when you first get to hanging around your neck.
It's really surreal, and it took a couple of days to sink in. I still don't think it's fully kind of sunk in, to be honest. When you dream of going to the Olympics, that's your first dream. And then for me, my second dream was making the final, to be an Olympic finalist. And then the next one is to get a medal. And then the very top of all of those is to get the gold. And it's such a small margin of error. Anything can go wrong. You could have a really bad race or bad performance, or you could have a really good race. And we're just lucky enough that, that day was our day. And super fortunate to get that result over some amazing quality athletes who could have got it if they had a great day as well.
We had a couple of questions come in about the gold medal. One was, has it sunk in? And I guess you kind of answered. But we had another one, which I'm not sure could potentially be throwing you under the bus, but came in from Dan Hughes. It says, what does the gold medal taste like? Have you done the old take a bite of the gold medal that everyone seems to do when they get a photo with it?
Dan Hughes is one of my mates, so I know he's trying to throw me under the bus here. I know what he wants me to say. No, I have taken a bite out of it, but not like that. I've done one of those photos, but no, I've definitely not tasted what it tastes like.
Well, I'm pretty sure there was one of the Japanese athletes had to get a replacement medal after someone in a politician took a random bite out of the medal, so they had to replace the medal. So, look, I think definitely keep that one to yourself. I guess what's next for you now? Obviously, you're still so very young in the sport. This is your first Olympic Games, and it's a sport that we see a lot of people go to 3, 4, even 5 Olympics in. Is that something that you kind of want to achieve now, to really, I guess, maybe even with Tom, dominate the sport for the next few years?
I haven't really had a lot of time to think about that, just because I really want to enjoy this moment right now. And this moment has taken a lot of hard work, but absolutely, that crosses your mind. And I think for me, the little bit of time I've had in quarantine is just, I still want to paddle up until 2028. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah.
Obviously with Brisbane, it would be quite cool to go to another one, but we'll see. But for me, it's just really important to know that this is a great time and it's a good celebration. But when the next season starts, I have to attack it the exact same way as I did last season, as if I'd never won a medal if I'd never won any medal before. I think it's really important to just keep your feet on the ground and always be hungry, because there's going to be athletes next season that really don't care that you have a medal, and they're going to want to beat you and take away that title. So, but that's just sport, and yeah, it's just about staying hungry, staying motivated, and keep pushing, I guess.
Well, one last thing that I want to touch on is, obviously, as an Olympic gold medalist, your profile will start to grow now. You're part of an elusive club. And as we've seen, that the Olympics are a great opportunity to build your profile as an athlete. And I guess one thing that I want to throw back to, you may not have seen this, especially having not been in Australia at the time, but there's an ad from the early 2000s for a well-known beer company that was all surrounding canoes. And I want to get your thoughts on whether this is something that maybe you or maybe one of the rowers we could bring back after our success in Tokyo. Have a watch of this and see what you think.
Man's got to win. Make the tough decisions. Get on top and stay there. And you can't do that without a canoe. And to have the biggest, strongest, longest canoe, you need to be your best. Yes, life can be tough, and canoes can be awkward. So why not ignore it all with a refreshing Carlton Draft?
I think there's potential there to remake that and have a 2021 version. What do you reckon?
I think you're on points. Who wouldn't want that sponsorship? That'd be huge. That'd be awesome. That's crazy. That'd be epic.
Early 2000 ads in Australia remain pretty undefeated in those sorts of things. Well, Jean, thank you so much for joining me. If people do want to hit you up on social media and things like that, where can they find you?
Just Instagram, I guess, jean.vdwest. Send through a message. Happy to chat. I'm bored here in quarantine, so let's have a chat. All good.
Well, Jean, thank you so much for joining me today, and stay tuned. We've got more episodes of Quarantine Questions on the way, and we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.